Hey everybody, welcome back to Kasaun Henry's video reflections. And today's topic is American democracy. I want to talk a little bit about why American democracy is not the American scheme or an American hypocrisy. We've heard Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X critique America. Malcolm X said, listen, in America, democracy in America is a hypocrisy, more or less. And most importantly, Martin Luther King Jr. said, we just want America to be true to the words on the paper. And that paper is the Declaration of Independence. So there's something there that can let us know what we need to understand about democracy. And we need to distinguish democracy from the poor portrayal of politics from those who act as if they are the best exemplars of American democracy or democracy in general. And if we fail to make that distinction, we will let an amazing idea slip through our fingers. Okay, democracy is it's a big thing. It's like fire. Fire is a big thing, helps us cook food and make materials and all sorts of amazing things that we need for our society. Democracy is just as important. Okay, very important, and I'll say that for another time. So I just got three things to say. First things first. All right, I understand that people have an issue with America. America, boy, girl, it's been tough for certain people. It's been very, very tough, and I don't need to repeat the litany of crimes of humanity that America has exercised on certain individuals. But be that as it may, I'm here to say that the reason why we've had a lot of trouble is because people have manipulated an amazing idea, this idea that every human being should be given a certain kind of respect, political respect, a respect of person. You would think that we would know this naturally. That takes time to learn. So the thing is that this is a big topic, and I'm going to try hard to stay focused. The thing I want you to know is that when we talk about American democracy, we have to keep in mind that American democracy is a set of ideas that honors human beings. It says that, hey, we're going to live somewhere together. And obviously, there's problems with me saying that, because starting American democracy on a piece of land that was already occupied is already flawed. All right, I don't have a magic wand. I can't turn back time, but I think we can move forward. So just stay with me. For those of you who are, ultra, humanists and very deep with your history. I love history too, and who think wrong is wrong and right is right. Just bear with me a little bit. American democracy is not the schemes you see in American politics. American democracy is not the political chicanery. American democracy is not economic collusion. American democracy is an ideal that holds human beings in the utmost respect. That is what American democracy is. All we need to do is return to the Declaration of Independence, and you'll get some of the important C's in American democracy. Okay, that every person has a right to his or her life, has a right to enjoy his or her liberty, and has a right to pursue his or her happiness within certain limits, very obvious limits, of course. You cannot go so far in your liberty, let's say, in your happiness, to the point where it harms me and deny me of my opportunity. So that's another discussion, right? But I think you get what I'm saying. All right, so that's what American democracy is all about. But somebody made American democracy my democracy and decided to take advantage of these great principles, of this amazing rhetoric, there's just the words, and said, you know what? Yeah, I'll stand by these words and I'll tell people that I'm about these words and ideas behind these words. But behind closed doors, and in some cases, right on center stage, I'm going to look out for me and my crew only, and I'm going to do whatever I have to do, no matter how inhumane it is, no matter how much suffering it causes. Um, that is not American democracy. No, that's an impersonator. That's an imposter. That's an American scheme. All right, and American schemes sort of grew out of the pursuit for American democracy, or at the very least, they grew concurrently. And a lot of people just say American democracy is a hypocrisy, like Malcolm X says, and that's not really the case. No, the way people practice democracy is a hypocrisy. So those people who represent these great ideals of the Declaration of Independence and say, I'm all for the people, but meanwhile, they're making deals with politicians to get the best policy for their companies in order to make as much profit, any means necessary, and whatever the consequences may be to our environment, which then in turn harms other people. That's not American democracy. That's my democracy. So we have to differentiate this concept of my democracy from American democracy. When we do that, and before I say when we do that, let's just go back a step. Here's what you need to know. Just go to the Declaration of Independence. Focus on the Declaration of Independence, especially that second chapter, and it talks about individual human rights and also the function of a government. All of that's part of what American democracy is all about. Okay, a government is the purpose of a government is to protect these individual rights. Okay, and when it fails to protect these individual rights, the government should be annulled. Okay, the government loses all moral force. Now, this is the tricky part. I'm the first to tell everybody, you should vote. Yes, you, all of you should be involved in American politics. And they look at me and say, Kasaun, are you out of your mind? I mean, come on. No matter what we do, no matter how much we vote, money trumps. And that's not necessarily true. Money does play a big role. But we have to ask ourselves, why do the Koch brothers put nearly $1 billion in the political market? Why do companies put so much money behind politicians? There's a reason, because the vote is that powerful. The vote is that powerful. And I'll say that for another time. Just check out my blog if you want to know more about the vote. Send me some questions. But what we have to understand is, here's the real deal. What we need to do is, when going back to the Declaration of Independence and paying close attention to what a government is supposed to do, which ideas, which goods and services is supposed to protect. It's supposed to protect this notion of life, my life, your life, and my liberty and your liberty, and also my happiness and your happiness, which obviously could be different things, and the conflict is going to start automatically, right? When we look at that, we have to understand that the government is really the crux of the matter. How we understand government. That's the crux of the matter. And I think the Gettysburg Address, which is derived the ideals and the passion and the goal, the ambitions of the Gettysburg Address comes out of the Declaration of Independence. This whole notion, when Lincoln talks about a government of the people, by the people, for the people, that's when things go wrong. That's when things go wrong. Because here's the deal. When we look at government, we talk about government as if it's something separate from us. All right? And that is false, especially in 2016. We are very clear. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows the part about government being for the people, but I think we forget that government is of the people. I think we forget that it's government by the people. So what we see in the government, when we are pointing at the government, we should be, can you see me now? You should be recognizing that we're pointing back at ourselves as a collective, and that the conflict lies in the community and our society. And so instead of saying government, we need to probably say American society, because government is, for real, believe me, is of the people. By of, it means the constituents are the people of American society, and it's set up, the things that they do is by the people. These are agendas and issues by people. The systems and the different functions and roles of the various stations of government were created by people. And it's the people inside government who are initiating certain agendas. And that's how things go wrong. So people are scheming the system. It's not the system, it's the people. And so if you consider yourself to be a great guy, a great woman, and you feel that you would never hurt a fly, and you have good intentions, you need to be part of the government. You need to be of the government. Just like anything else. I mean, come on, folks. We act like government is something different from any other organization that we are part of. Obviously, the government, whatever happens in government, inflicts grave consequences on society. But there's a part of it that's very human, very natural. It's a group of people trying to do what he or she thinks is right, or in his or her best interest. And with that in mind, we gotta know that we have to be a part of that organization. Just the same when you send your child, if you have kids, to a daycare, or when you go to get a massage, or if you're working, as a construction worker, for example, and you're working with a group of people, or maybe you're a manager. There's an organization that a lot of responsibilities, and people may honor or ignore or be negligent, sorry, and in their responsibilities. And it's the same thing with government. So it's up to us in any station of our lives to hold people accountable. We gotta hold people accountable for scheming the system or being negligent, inflicting harm, intentionally or unintentionally. So I'll stop there. American democracy is a great thing. It's a great idea. It is not, please remember this, it is not a scheme. It is not a hypocrisy. The people's intentions who misuse government, those are the schemers. Okay, those are the people who are abusing democracy. So get out there and vote, have more political conversations, and stay tuned for the next reflections. And if you have anything you want me to talk about, email me here. Take care, everybody. See ya.